Ready? You're good?
Yeah, I'm good. Wait, I'm not quite ready. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat? Yes, no. 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 Maybe. Life is unfair.
Hello and welcome to Yes, No, Maybe. My name is Ryan.
My name is Willa.
We are brother and sister, and this is a podcast where we discuss, debate, and relate to the widely seen and criminally underappreciated 2000 sitcom Malcolm in the Middle. And folks, it's a special week because we are on the eve of the revival coming out, Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair. And in celebration, we've had a week of special guests.
And today we've got a real treat for you guys. We're so lucky that the team behind Malcolm in the Middle were able to pull this actor out of obscurity after his fantastic run as Hal and Malcolm in the Middle. You're going to have to tell us what you've been up to all these years. Please welcome Bryan Cranston.
Hey now.
Hey.
Lovely studio audience, too. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
You put that in later.
You did mention at the beginning that you've listened to this podcast, which was surprising to both of us. So you've heard Yes, No, Maybe?
I have. Well, I contacted my publicity people and I said, why don't you book me on Yes, No, Maybe?
Wow.
And my publicist said, on what? And I said, Yes, No, Maybe. I said, it's about Malcolm in the Middle. And I said, it's really good. These two, the brother and sister, they're very funny. And they really like the show. And what I appreciated about the show is that it goes in deep on familial issues, you know, that everyone can relate to. So we take a general problem that any family has on Malcolm and we push it and pull it and stretch it, and that becomes an episode. Now, all this week we're promoting Life's Still Unfair, and we've been contacted by people in Afghanistan and Bolivia and, I mean, from everywhere around the world. And at first it's kind of astonishing, but then you realize I think families are the same no matter what language is being spoken in your house. And that's what they're relating to. Family issues, not the wealthy, but the normal family, whatever it is, relationships, personalities, money, chores, homework, school. I mean, it's, you know, fear of failure.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things.
Yeah, true. I think there's something super universal about the show. I think that's part of why it's been so enduring through all these years.
Yeah, we know that there's a huge community in Mexico specifically that loves Malcolm in the Middle, and in France. We've had fans reach out, and also there's just Instagram pages that are like specifically Malcolm in France, you know, and it's like all French, and we're like, oh, okay, cool.
Oui, sure.
Oui, yeah. We've honestly been like, we got to get some French people to impersonate us, word for word, do our podcast.
Right.
It's a whole new market.
There you go.
First, we need to get more listeners, but then we can.
Sure, but I
Then
think,
work on that.
you know, we've already got a listener right here.
That's true. So when we had Lynwood in yesterday, he was talking about how the original conception of Hal was different and as you mentioned before, a little bit less defined. Like, what did you find on the page in Hal? Like, what was your take when you entered?
It was a little difficult because what made me want to audition for this and then eventually test for it was the strength of the overall story and the characters. Lois was just phenomenal, you know, and then Frankie embodying Malcolm, and all the other brothers were, you know, fit that slice, and they were all different, and then the innocent little Dewey, and it was like, oh man, this is a great story. Now I start thinking about Hal, and I think, I haven't looked in a long time, but someone said, I think you have like 5 lines in the entire pilot episode. And I thought, yeah, there's not much there. And he doesn't seem to be paying attention to the children. He's always looking at something or eating and looking up and wondering what's going on. And so I thought, but you can't play disinterest. You can't. No, that is what an audience will feel if you play disinterest. They will also.
Gotcha.
So I had to make the distinction between that, and I found it in distracted. Hal was distracted. He is overburdened. He's a very worrisome guy. And so he is taking a little mind vacation often. And he realizes he's behind something. He forgot something. He didn't hear what he was supposed to do. And he panics, because he's always trying to catch up.
Right.
But in formulating the character, I didn't know what to do. To be absolutely honest with you, I'm thinking, I don't really know how this is going to come across. It might look like I just don't care if I'm reading the newspaper or if I'm just eating and while they're talking. So I looked at the attributes, the idiosyncratic nature of Lois. She's fearless, strong, in charge,
Sexy.
vibrant, sexy. And I just looked and I got a legal pad out and I literally wrote the opposite of what she was. Fearful, not strong, he's weak. Fearless, he's, all these things. And I realized, I see something I can play here, especially for comedy. Right. With the fearful, that one really kicked in for me because then I go, he can be fearful about everything. Spiders, heights, he's like, people walking in and he gets scared. He's that, so all those things I started to see what could be possible.
Right.
But I wasn't going to be able to show that in the pilot. So I did what I thought I could do in the pilot as best I can. Now, here's what many people don't know. Fox picked up the show, and they announced that we're going to buy this show and go into production. But they contacted Lynwood and said, "Great, love it. One thing, replace the dad. He's not funny."
Wow.
And Lynwood said, "No, that's not it." They go, "Yeah, but we can find so many other great actors that can fit that role. He's just not funny. He's not funny." And Lynwood said, No, I just didn't flesh him out as much as we had the two big leads to work on for this half-hour pilot. And they said, no, I think we really should. He just then put his foot down. He said, "That's not going to happen. I am not going to replace him. Bryan's going to play Hal." And he just said no. Yeah. And without Lynwood being my champion to do that, I'm not sitting here today.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine not having this opportunity to do that. Yes, no, maybe.
Well, exactly. You'd have someone else.
Right. Well, it does seem like a common theme of all the crew and cast we've talked to that Lynwood really sticks to his guns.
He's going to walk away.
He'll threaten to walk if he doesn't stand up for his people, which that's really admirable. It seems.
I'm going to let you in on another thing. So we had on this reboot, we had the table read for the 4 episodes, and we're reading all these episodes, and the network is there, and Fox is Disney and Disney execs, and they're taking notes, and we got notes, and just as they're going to gather the executives to give the notes, Lynwood's gone.
He walked.
He's nowhere to be found.
He walked. He really did.
They said, he had this unexpected phone call that came in. He had to take it.
Oh, my God.
But there is suspect to that.
He knows the game.
He knows the game. He goes, so his partners took the notes, and really Tracy was like, okay, got it. We'll relay these notes. But he's not one to be able to sit quietly and just receive notes. He just wants to do it his way.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He really sticks to his guns in a way that these characters do too.
Yeah.
We heard that you, as you were auditioning, the set was literally being built behind you. Also.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that your little Halisms just completely bowled him over, and he was just laughing and where do you have a repertoire of who, how, he? Where did those come from? Did you kind of build a backlog as you go?
No, Willa, that really came from thinking, he's afraid. This man's in fear.
Yeah.
So why not be afraid of virtually everything? Bugs, everything.
Yeah.
Cats. He's just a fearful man, which gave me a lot of fodder for for comedy. But when I was the last one hired because they couldn't find the guy, and I came in and tried to nail that distracted as opposed to disinterested, and he laughed. And whenever the people are laughing that you're doing, it's like, oh, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I only have 5 lines. I got to impress.
Totally.
I've got to make this happen. So it was all the things before and after the lines that was really what I was focused on. Totally. Finding little things to do when my back is getting shaved.
Yeah. Do you have like we won't ask you to do it, but do you have like a favorite sound that like a Halism that you would like dust off the shelves and you're like, I'll pull this one out for it's the season finale. I got it.
Well, no, but I do have a story. Hal was normally fairly happy until something scared him, and he would whistle and hum. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Hal would, and then he'd enter a room or you go, right? So once we're deep into the show, maybe second season, and I get a call from the music department, the head of clearances at Fox, and he says, "Are you a member of BMI or ASCAP, the where you write music and you belong to the musicians unions and things?" And I said, "No," and he goes, "Well, you kind of should." I go, "Why's that?" He goes, "Well, you hum and whistle on the show. I have to write down every half second of music.
Wow.
And you might as well be officially the author of that music."
You're composing.
Yes, I'm a composer. And he said, unless the music you're humming or whistling is from another song. And
Just
I said,
covers.
"What do you mean? That I'd plagiarize? I don't need someone else. This is all original."
Yeah.
So I signed up with BMI.
No way.
And to this day, every quarter, I get about $200.
No way.
For whistling and I get a sheet, several pages long. It says, what episode number 308? Hal whistles half second.
Right.
308. Hal walking to the car, humming.
Wow.
A second and a half. And to this day. So I would take that money and I would buy alcohol, as one does. And I would, every Friday night, if we worked late, we would have a party. We'd play poker and have we'd stay on our set and not disrupt the whole infrastructure of the studio if they found out we were doing this. So we'd have a drink cart come out and we'd make cocktails for the whole crew.
The whistle money.
The whistle money.
The whistle and humming money. So at one point, there was a lighting assistant who came to me and said, "Hey, Bryan." I go, "Yeah, I read the new script. There was a scene where you're working on the garbage disposal underneath the sink." "Oh, yeah, I think I remember reading that." He goes, "Seems like a good time to whistle or hum." And I go, "Steve, you're absolutely right.
That's awesome.
Make sure I'm gonna remember that. We'll do it. You'll get your cocktails, Steve. Don't worry about
I
it."
really like McKellen and
Wow.
love some.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Wow, that's our dad should be making money because every time he eats food, he always goes.
He goes, and he doesn't even know he's doing
He
it.
doesn't. It's unconscious. It's awesome.
I had a friend who did that.
Really?
But he extended that. He was almost like Leon Redbone.
I'll say.
That's amazing.
That's so good.
So I want to talk about the relationship between Hal and Lois, because it's kind of like one of the great TV marriages. And it's one of the things that Willa and I really latched onto from the beginning, was just like kind of an example of like a really great, loving marriage amidst all the chaos.
Yeah.
And what's always been interesting is that Lois is like a little bit more paternal, and Hal seems a little bit more maternal in some ways, and which resonates with our family.
Yeah.
But like, was there a decision to kind of subvert our expectations of the traditional sitcom marriage when you were in it, or was it just sort of?
Yeah. Did it come from that notepad list? I guess.
Right.
It is, and that maternal paternal switch from traditional homes was because I thought I would be a fool to try to compete with Lois.
Yeah.
So the best thing I can do is compliment her some way, fill in the places where what she doesn't have, and she has what I don't have. So it made the marriage plausible in that sense. But as far as the abject lust and attraction we have for each other, I think that just evolved because Jane and I, we're such good friends and we adore each other, and it was easy for us to just dovetail into that, and just we thought, why not? This is a unique situation. The abject chaos that is going on in the house, and all that aside, and these two are just trying to find a place to make out and have sex.
Yeah.
It's like, it's unusual. And that's what we thought would be so funny about it.
Right.
Is that you would think, oh, these two would just barely talk to each other the entire existence.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, let's spin it and turn it on its own. And the writers were writing that. And we're like, okay, let's really make this lustful and like they cannot take their hands off each other, which also explains why they have so many kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious.
Another one. God.
Yeah, and in the revival, there's that moment where you find out that Hal has literally never turned down sex except that one time, which is so funny.
I think we're doing a rewatch. It's a rewatch podcast, and we're on season 3, and we just watched an episode where there is a similar situation where Hal's kind of like, oh, I'm not really in the mood, and Lois is like, you're always in the mood, and he's like, okay, yeah, you're right. And I was like, oh wow, like the revival moment is very unique because that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Oh, and one of the best ones, evacuation, where you don the suits and you go into the poisonous gas.
Because that's where they won't be.
Yes.
Right.
We'll be alone.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's too good.
I mean, Hal seems like a tender lover, and it's about time somebody said it. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
true.
you. Surprisingly tender
Yep.
and attentive lover.
I like that it's also peppered in that they just like constantly role play like that. I feel like that's the they had so many. Oh, there's some line also season 2 or something where they're like, oh, we'll finally do that one role play that you want to do, and he's like, really? Like, it's like a police one. Remember?
Yeah. It's a police.
like-
We don't see it, but it's off camera. It's through the door we hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Police role play. We don't need to get into it, but
No. We actually brought the
But we
script. No, but that it's just rare. I don't know. You see so many sitcom couples where it's just like, my bitch wife.
I know
Yeah.
the joke is like, oh, the old ball and chain, and it's
Yeah.
like so tired. It's refreshing, I think, to
Right.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, they love each other so much.
Yeah.
And as much frustration as they have for the boys, that they always like make space for their love. It's really nice.
You remember that episode, Lois's birthday,
Yeah.
where her feelings are hurt because everybody forgot her birthday.
Yeah.
And the writing is so great on this because you'd normally see a script come in where, we have to make amends and we have to go to her and apologize. And instead, Hal says, oh, no, you're never going to get that. We're never going to be able to be what you want us to be. But this is who we are, and we're trying our best.
Yeah.
And let's go fight some clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought that moment up because we talked a lot about that on our episode of the show where it feels like this show, Malcolm in the Middle is so good at having unexpected, like I put it that it's like kind of allergic to sentimentality, the show, right? It kind of resisted at every turn, but those moments where it kind of breaks through and it like suddenly it's the most honest conversation in the world are so affecting. And that one in particular is so great where he's like, yeah, this is who we are, and we're not, we can't change, and like you got to just like take us as we are. It feels like a really real conversation.
Well, Ryan, you said it earlier, to subvert expectations. I think that's the hallmark on really good writing.
Yeah.
When you're guiding an audience to a certain place and they're going to assume, it's going to go sweet and love, and then you, and then just when you're crazy, say something funny. Like we're talking about the flashback episode at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
and we're having another child, and everything's falling apart, and we can't go in the house, and it's raining, and she says, "Tell me everything you love about me," and she's saying it in such a hard way. I want 7, no 10.
Yeah.
And he's desperately trying to come up with and one of my favorite lines is like, I love how every one of your toes looks like it comes from a different foot.
So good. It's so good.
Yes.
And so specific, and like that's what love is.
It is love. And then one that she says about me, I love how you still suck in your gut when
Yes. Yeah.
when I walk into a room. And that truly is love.
Yeah.
It's in the little things, the little gestures, the day-to-day things. And that's what the writers were so good at, and what Jane and I relished in when we saw that, or an idea that we had to infuse that situation. It's great.
It's so great.
Yeah, did you ever have a little, you're like, oh, this will show off our adoration for each other, that you can remember something that you wanted to add, like you and Jane came up with?
The writing was so well structured that we didn't improv a lot, but we expanded a lot. We breathed into it, and it's like, so something that was a nucleus here could come up or down on different takes, and then you never know what's going to show up. They can, trim or expand it or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But the hallmark of it is the writing. I mean, I from that experience, from Breaking Bad, from many other things that I've done, I've realized that is by far the most important single element in performance art.
Yeah.
Lynwood kind of talked about how, because we asked him like if he considered the broader arcs of the characters. I mean, it's like, speaking of Breaking Bad, that's kind of like that whole show is sort of an experiment in change, right? And like and so we asked Lynwood, like, did you consider that with this sitcom of how these characters evolve? And he was like, no, it was traditional in that way. It's like at the end of the episode, it's a reset for the next one. It's it's sort of episode of the week kind of thing, story of the week. And I wondered, from an actor's perspective, were you considering at all like how Hal changes from season to season, or was it really like taking it episode by episode?
Episode by episode, and you're reacting to stimuli. Yeah. So when I'm reading a script and one of the boys are going through a change, it's going to affect how I feel, or Francis going off to military school or going to Alaska or whatever, and then whatever's happening in the family kicks in. Hal loses his job, or he can't take it anymore. So it expands that way. But primarily what was satisfying to me is that Hal has always been this guy. But there was remember that it was flashback. When they had the babies, and when they first had Francis, they were living in a white apartment. We were having a great time, and all these things.
And they were in the city, and I think they even mentioned Friends, and it made me think, oh, I've never seen any Friends.
I know.
They used to have Friends.
Yeah. Well, I have Abe.
You have Abe.
That's true. That's true.
But and then with each subsequent child, their life gets worse, which is funny, and it has that anti-sentimentality that you were talking about. But even anti-sentimentality is sentimental. Do you know what I mean? When there's a flavor of it that you go, oh, they're having fun, but that's kind of
right.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely, and I mean, we're talking about how so many people around the world can relate to this family. It's definitely a look at like an American lower middle class family, but Hal comes from wealth, as we learn. So was that something that was there from the beginning, and did it inform the way you played the father of a family that was struggling to make ends meet?
No, that came as a surprise to me when that script came in, and to have that episode reveal that he came from a wealthy family. I was like, oh my God, that completely took me by surprise, because I assumed the opposite. Yeah. But then you realize, oh, so the father in that, Christopher Lloyd,
amazing,
who didn't share the wealth. I mean, and that was also one of those episodes that had that sentimental value to it, which Hal was listening to all his relatives talk ill of Lois,
Yep.
and it was like, oh, I don't even want to be around these people, and that's why. I think that line, lowest common denominator, came.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
I know when we talked about that, we're like,
Yeah.
that's tough, but like, oof, good burn.
Really
Yeah,
good
it's
line.
burn.
Unfortunately,
Really
very
good line.
clever. and then in the Lois's birthday, that clown calls her wide ride.
Yeah.
So it's always set off by
By really good insult.
Good
Yeah.
insult.
But yeah, that's I just thinking about this now. But in the also this is going to come out post revival being out. So the revival has Malcolm, leaving his family or wanting to separate from his family, and Hal definitely did that with his family.
He did,
it seems,
yeah.
but obviously there was a lot of missing love and care in Hal's family that Malcolm probably doesn't appreciate in his own.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I think, just like kids in real life, they don't understand. You don't appreciate that. You don't really appreciate what your parents have done until later. And it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you're not supposed to understand. I was talking to Frankie and the boys, and Frankie especially, and we had dinner about 10 years ago or so. And he said, he was 30 then, and he said, I don't think I really appreciated what was happening in the moment. About how rare it was to be, first of all, as an actor on a show, to get a show, let alone a great show.
Right.
Yeah.
Any show for an actor. But he didn't appreciate that and what came with that. And I said, Frankie, you're not supposed to. You were a boy. Boys aren't supposed to reflect.
Yeah.
Remember when I was 7? It's like, no, you're going through it. Your energies are, and you're thinking adulthood, and your hormones are going crazy, and you're trying to figure out life. You're not reflecting on this. So let that go.
Yeah.
But now,
Yeah.
I'm just so joyous to be with him now and to talk with my other boys and get that sense. They have all got children of their own. They're all in relationships, and they're like, that was a great time. They're looking back now and going, wow, what a remarkable time.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were
that's
you
special.
were you a father when you started Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah. My daughter, Taylor, was 5. I think 5 when we did the pilot. Maybe 6. And she was she's an actor now too.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
but she's a 4th generation actor because that's what I saw, that's what she saw, and that's what you grow up into. And she came around often and to the set, and it was fun to have her a part of the extended family. It was good.
We want to do a quick rapid fire question before we get to the revival. So we're just going to shoot out some stray questions, things we've always kind of wondered. Okay, the episode Hal Quits. What does Hal paint?
It's abstract.
Yeah, but okay, I'll say I know
Exactly.
that's the answer. But okay, what's it about? The themes, what's it about?
It's his blue period.
Yes, it is. I like to imagine that there is just a fully naked imprint of Hal on the canvas.
Right in the middle. Yeah.
I remember jumping up to it and hitting it.
Yeah.
I got into a little trouble doing that. My whole body was covered in blue paint. And what you don't realize is that's how your body regulates heat. You don't realize that. The only part was underneath my underwear and my eyes. That was the only uncovered part of it. And after a while, my body started to overheat.
Oh, wow.
Because I couldn't cool off.
Right. All your pores are clogged or whatever.
Pores are clogged up, and all the heat was retaining. And I'm working on a set with all these lights, and I'm energized and crazed and like this.
Yeah.
And I started to feel a little dopey, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" And Jimmy Simons, our producer, said, "That's it."
Yeah.
And he threw me in a golf cart and drove me back to my dressing room. threw me in the shower, and like I had to get it off. I had to take it off so I can start. Yeah.
Wow.
Drove you right to the studios of the Blue Man Group and said,
That's
"You're
right.
on."
Yeah, you're on. Yeah. That's a real Hal subplot. That would happen.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
That would be a great little renewal thing.
Just like in the revival when he does all the ayahuasca or whatever, I'm like, I'm surprised this hasn't happened already.
I
You know, him doing the drugs.
He was at Burning Man. You think he would have?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Really quick, when you're talking about dousing yourself in blue paint, much has been said about you really going there and getting covered in bees and roller skating and like, is that like kind of who you are? Did Hal really was Hal the conduit there? Did Hal bring that out of you?
As it's who I am as an actor. I'm looking for experiences,
Right. Yeah.
and different unique places to go and things to do. And so every time they wrote something, it's like, oh my God, wow, that's going to be wild.
Yeah.
To hang upside down, to be tied to a bus, to wear bees, to all these weird stuff. I knew that I was going to get it because you couldn't abuse children.
Yeah.
I don't know why that law exists, but
We're working
apparently
on that one, but
I know that's got to be revised. But yeah, that was so. I was the target. Jane said, "Absolutely not. I'm not doing any of that."
Yeah.
And so I was the guy who was doing all that.
Right.
Was that true of you? Like as a kid, like you'd be the kid to throw yourself at a wall or eat the
Yeah,
weird...
I mean, I would jump off the roof. I was thinking I'm an astronaut or something. I was a very active kid, played sports and things.
Yeah.
And it was, but it's a unique opportunity. Not many people in the world can say they've done those things.
Yeah.
To repeat them, I don't know if it would make sense.
Yeah.
But
Once is
here we
enough.
are.
That image of you covered in bees is haunting.
It is
Because you
really
have
scary.
you're exhausted in the episodes, the bots and the bees, and so you have all this makeup on and the bees. It's like straight out of like a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's scary, that close up.
I was stung twice.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, you're wearing
I guess,
bees.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
What?
You were stung by a
Did
That's
they apologize?
bizarre. And what I realized from that is that a bee sting really is like 5 to 10% pain and 90% surprise.
Right.
Whoa!
Right.
What was that? I mean, it's not. So I'm standing there with
You're expecting
60,000 bees. And the beekeeper said, if you get stung, let me know, and I'll scrape out the stinger right away so it diminishes the impact of it, the strength of the poison going in. Okay, I'll let you know. Yeah. And so I had to move around like this, and a bee got caught between my legs and stung me.
Oh.
And he goes, and I had to move, though. I had to go, because there's no surprise. So I went, I think I got stung. That's the extent of it.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, where? And I go, in my scrotum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, sorry.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
He's like, I've heard this one before.
I'm not going
Nice
there.
me
try,
twice.
Brian.
I'm not going
I've
there.
told you that mom got stung on the ass by a bee when we were just inside cooking, and she was like, "Ow!" And then she reached in her pants. She's like, "Oh my God, a bee stung me." 20 minutes later, we're drinking coffee. She drinks from it. She's like, "Oh." Bee stung her on her lip. It was in her coffee. What
the hell is happening in your house?
I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Okay. Second rapid fire question. In season 3, episode 9, Lois asks Hal to kill Dewey's fish, and he can't bring himself to do it. If the stakes were higher, could Hal take a human life for Lois?
Oh, take a human life for Lois. He probably would, but he would like the fish. You just reminded me of that. It's painful to him. He feels everything.
Yeah.
I had one pitch I had for Lynwood once. I said they're running low on money, so he tells Lois finally. He admits that he sold one of his livers, and she goes, Hal, you only have one liver. Oh, that's why it was so expensive.
That's so good. That's good.
Awesome.
That's good.
Awesome. What does Hal actually do at work?
At middle management, there was that. I remember that one episode where I directed that episode where Hal's at work and there's a very aggressive woman who's sexually harassing Hal. Do you remember that?
We haven't gone to it yet, but I do remember what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I directed that episode, and it's interesting how that in this day and age, it seemed to take the onus off it because it was the genders were reversed.
Right.
But I don't think you could do that these days.
Yeah, interesting.
What does he do? I don't know.
Yeah. We know there's no answer.
Well, it's a bit, so
I know. It's like
we had to try.
Which kid do you think Hal is most afraid of?
most afraid of. Well, I guess Malcolm because he could. It's so brainy, or Reese because it's so heinous.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Do you think Kelly's in contention there now because there's or what? How do you see Hal's relationship to Kelly?
Well, it's he doesn't understand it.
Exactly. So I'm like, maybe there's fear there because it's
There's a lot of apprehension because first of all, non-binary choices, and it's like, and he is trying, like he says, does them want to go shopping?
Yeah.
And he's not quite sure how to do this.
They are a really good kid, and Hal hasn't had that before. So it's like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, we don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, right.
And the house looks great, and they are a good student, and all these things, and it's like, how do we deal with this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. It's because it's funny. It's like at the end of the series, it's like, is it going to be a boy or a girl? And it's like, well, it's not that simple.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Gotcha. Rug pull. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is another thing. It's like it's a new thing for Lois and Hal to deal with. I think the show handles it, I think, very beautifully.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Kelly's speech is really lovely.
We had Vaughn in here the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Vaughn is the best.
And Vaughn was talking about, I think you were talking about how hearing Lynwood laugh in your audition was like, oh, I'm doing something right. Because Vaughn's only really done drama. And Vaughn was very nervous about auditioning. And when people started laughing, their instinct was, oh, no, I'm doing something wrong.
Oh,
and then they were like, oh, no, wait, that's good because it's comedy.
Yeah.
But did you see yourself as wanting to be more in comedy or drama? Or were you always just like, whatever?
I like to swim in the direction that the opposite from where I just came from.
Okay.
So, like I was doing Seinfeld. I played
amazing.
the dentist on Seinfeld. I was in King of Queens and How I Met Your Mother, and doing a lot of little guest starring. I had a couple comedy series of my own that didn't go anywhere, and it was like, okay, so I did a lot of comedy. And then leaving Malcolm in the Middle, when it finished in 2006, that's all I was getting, offers for comedies.
Right.
And I knew, no, it's got to be a drama. It's got to be a drama.
Right.
Or say no to all the comedies.
Is that because you're like, otherwise I'll be stuck in this lane?
Exactly right. You might be pigeonholed, but you don't want to be the one putting that pigeon in the hole. It's like if it happens to you, do what you can to work against it.
Right.
And so, comedy, drama, theater, television, film, adult fare, family stuff, just keep
Adult
moving
film,
around.
eventually.
Adult films, not eventually, in the past. And that's worth a revisit.
That's our next podcast. Okay, these speed round questions are stupid, so I'm going to move on to the revival. Each one gets worse than the last.
Okay, fine. I don't want to know
This
that
one says, is he a Proust guy or more of his Chaucer, Morris 5?
Proust or Chaucer. First of all, Malcolm would have to tell Hal.
He's like, is that a type of apple?
That's exactly right. It's like, I'll have to have him explain it to Hal.
Exactly.
And finally, what's Hal's favorite sex position? I mean, we have to ask that.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because it's what Lois wants. She wants to be on top all the time.
Yep.
Confirmation. The fans wanted to know.
She dominates.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering. I was like, maybe when they get in the bedroom, things flip around, but you never know. They'll leave that to them. All right. So, Revival. It's an amazing series. We had a blast watching it, especially with an audience. I think that was so fun.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
We were there. We'd gotten it a few weeks earlier, and so we'd gotten to watch it, just Ryan and I.
Oh, good.
So we've seen the whole thing also, not just the first two.
Good.
But it's fantastic.
So good. And
it's fun. It has the flavor.
Totally.
It's the ethos of the show.
Yeah.
But that's hard to do, to come back and go make 4 from 20 years ago, and you got to hit all those characters. You got to find out what each character is up to and what they're doing and what,
And you just added so many siblings that it's a lot of kids to go
you
through.
just didn't make it easy for yourself and the sibling, the child department.
Yeah.
And I also think it's great that it is kind of more of a complete arc. It is kind of like a movie split into, I know you guys kind of started writing it as a movie. I heard that at one point. Because that kind of goes against the thing that we were saying, each episode you have to reset or whatever. But this, you kind of let Hal and each of the characters go through more of a complete arc, I think, which was satifying as a fan to watch.
Well, it makes it easier to binge.
Yeah.
And it's only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to go
right
through it. Whereas our show back in the day was once a week. And I thought, and because it was more of a reset each week, I thought that was the best way to watch that show.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an interesting kind of game going on in the revival between Hal and Lois, where Hal's displays of love for Lois get more and more kind of bombastic. And it's this interesting thing. It's sweet, but it's also kind of a little bit selfish, right? It's like interesting that his displays of love read as sometimes more for him than for her. Can you talk about that kind of like that contrast, that dynamic?
Yeah, well, Hal has an immature state. You know, he's kind of stunted in his growth. I think that's the way it feels to me. And so, in order to justify, you know, what was written there, you think, okay, they wrote these things to be funny and dumping the rose petals and the guy getting a tattoo and like it's like
Horrifying.
It's Lynchian. It's horrific.
It is very Lynchian, really. And so I think he does take, and I think that's where the joke lies. Lois is kind of, oh God, would please stop.
Yeah.
You know, she's kind of horrified by the thing, and I'm like, ooh, giddy. Look at that. I got a guy to you know, get a tattoo of this whole love letter I wrote to him. But then to counter that scene with Frances where she comes in and he says, look, I really got to talk to you about this, about being a potential, you know, new father. And she is reading love letters from Hal that are just on parchment, pen and parchment. So it's normal, but it's all unique, and she kept them all, and so there's that too. And I think so you get the kind of the shock value with the comedy pops, because they used it and they interspersed it, so it's just a quick visual and you're out.
It's great.
I think maybe it kind of ties into the big theme for Hal this revival and for the original series as well, of fear. And, you know, that could come from a little bit of fear of wanting to make sure she understands the level of love that he's working at, right?
Yeah.
And do you think any of that desire to show his love comes from the fear angle?
Oh, absolutely. Fear and insecurity. So the fear spread throughout: fear of losing his job, fear of being a bad father, fear of losing his wife, fear of everything. And so that's just really insecurity. And so he needs to feel that he's showing her more than any husband could ever do, you know. And she's going, Hal, you got to stop.
Yep.
But interesting in reverse is that he is asking Reese, you know, we can just be together. We don't need to do all these, you know, expensive things. They don't need to rotate tiles every 6 months, you know. And I didn't know that he was up to, you know, hurt me. Of course, I should have known, because that's Reese.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think one of those hurt you more? The Malcolm? I mean, Malcolm's maybe more pungent. The hiding,
right? Because it's a double whammy.
It's double whammy.
It's like you can't catch a break in that episode because you find out about the new family, and then it's your son's humiliating you on the internet.
Yeah,
and now we're humiliating you on the internet.
So I'm used to it. But I think the one that Malcolm did is a deeper wound, because you know, like Hal says in that line, wait, your biggest problem is that we exist.
Yeah. Oh.
That if you didn't live, if you weren't alive, his life would be better.
Right.
And I just like, oh, what have we done? I don't know how to make this right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the expansive mind to be able to figure it out. You know.
The ayahuasca, I guess it's ayahuasca. Is that ever said? It's some drug that he
we don't say.
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah.
I guess ayahuasca isn't a pill. Maybe I've never done it.
It's a pill.
But we have some right here. But that whole sequence in the third episode is so great, and that we touched on it. But that conversation about that Hal has with himself, the parts of himself, is so affecting, and kind of for us unlocked something that's crucial to Hal, which is this deep-seated fear. Because there's one thing of like scared of hospitals and snakes, but it's something like deeper than that too. And Lynwood kind of talked about how that was a bit of a collaborative process, that coming to that, working through that scene. Can you talk about like getting there and cracking that?
Well, I'm not well versed in drug use, so I was kind of starting to go, hey, I don't even know. He goes, yeah, it's not that you're slurring words. It's not like you're drunk. So I really had to go, Lynwood, you're much more of an expert in this field.
Yeah.
What's it like? What is the high? He says, well, you can feel nauseous. I go, but what's the high? So I struggled a little bit into figuring out, how do I play this foreign experience and just getting input. And so I had to just kind of keep trial and error. He said, now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. I go, okay, so it's kind of illuminating. It's almost like enlightenment. And I'm like, oh, Trent Reznor,
Yeah,
That was
fun.
you're
that
beautiful. Even your socks are beautiful. I'll never be that, So he's learning so much. And with the Krishna, and I was like, oh my God, how do I know that? He's like, oh, I've just been I've had this mind expanding experience.
Right.
And that's the sense of wonder was basically the umbrella thing that I used, that kind of,
Yeah, because Lynwood did talk to us about his own trip experience that he pulled so directly from. He said he had a bedraggled raccoon that he saw rather than
he told us about his trip. It was amazing.
It was amazing. I was like,
I'm so glad we asked him that question because he went in such detail about his trip, and it was funny, but it was beautiful too. It was a really sweet story that he told us.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how 1-to-1 that was. It was beautiful.
Yeah, he's an open book that way. He'll tell you. It's like,
Totally. Yeah, totally.
I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of my guru, guiding me through. I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, this is how you do it.
A trip guider without the
Yeah,
drugs.
trip guide.
Yeah.
So we want to touch on, I guess, on this last question about the revival, which is kind of general, but you pushed for this revival for a decade, and Lynwood said it went from nudging to pestering to bullying. And what was your driving desire to revisit this family, even just a few years after it had been on the air?
Well, it started about maybe 12 years ago or so, and I had just finished Breaking Bad. It was like 2013, 2014, or 15, somewhere in there, and I kept getting people go, oh, and I loved you on Malcolm in the Middle. Hey, whatever happened? Did you and Lois have a boy or a girl? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And then other people say, did Malcolm actually become president, do you think? And I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, I don't know. What happened to Dewey? Did he ever? I don't know. I don't know. So I took the collection of I don't knows to Lynwood, and I said, I think there's something here. There's enough fodder to because by then I thought it would be a 10-year reunion and we could do something 10 years later, And he said, no, absolutely not. His first words were, fuck no. I am not going back into that. I am tapped. I have no fresh ideas. Zero, no, close the door, lock it. Okay. I have dinner with Frankie. And we're talking about it. And I said, yeah, I thought maybe we can do a reunion. He goes, oh, that'd be interesting. I said, would you like to do it? Yeah, I would like to do it. That would be great. Yeah. And so he tweeted out to his, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know how many millions of fans he has. And he got so much response. And he showed me, he said, Bryan, I tweeted out that, I had dinner with you and we were talking about maybe doing and it was like, yes. So I took that to Lynwood and I said, look, Frankie tweeted out and there's a lot of response. And he goes, no, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it could happen. I don't have any ideas and I don't think so. But if you take the two responses, no, lock the door, it's not going to happen, done, to I don't think so. I don't have any idea. It's like, ooh, there's some progress.
Yeah.
I see a fissure.
See, right?
Yeah, it's like, so then I waited another year. I actually took out Tracy Katsky, his wife, and Gail Berman, our executive producer, and we went to breakfast. And we sat there going, how do we make this happen? We're trying to collude into trying to. And
Have you ever worked for the CIA or in any capacity?
Yes, actually did. So we're trying to collude and how to approach Lynwood like he's a rabid, dog or something. And so we're all trying to figure, well, it's got to be careful. We have to just kind of keep nudging, and he's not going to move until he comes up with the idea.
Right.
To pitch him an idea, it's someone coming from outside. It's never worked before. So I just kept saying, hey, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to get everybody, but I know. I said, no. He said, but if someone came up with a good idea of one of our writers, then maybe and I thought, oh, we're on the way.
Yeah.
We're on the way. And then finally Tracy said to him, Bryan's your friend, and could you just at least do him a favor and think about it?
Right.
And he realized, oh, yeah, I don't want to, he is my friend. I was like, okay, so I'll think about it. And sure enough, 3 years ago, he said, I think I have it. And I came over to his house, and he pitched the whole idea in rough, bigger terms.
Wow.
And I thought, this is a great idea.
Yeah. Man, that must have been exciting.
That
To
was
And
find.
that's how it got him. Got him going and got him into it. And we then quickly checked to make sure the core team would be able to come back, except Eric.
Yeah.
We lost him to academia.
Yeah.
What a big mistake that was. School.
Living his dreams. Okay.
Okay.
It could have been on our podcast.
Yeah, but what
But
the
you got
hell?
your midterm, I understand.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
anyway,
it's a very Dewey move too, which is the coolest. thing.
totally.
Very
very
Dewey
Dewey
move.
move.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it's true.
How cool.
Anyway, Bryan, this is honestly just obviously a huge honor to have you, and we kind of played coy at the beginning of them pulling you from obscurity, but you're an industry legend, and from Seinfeld to Breaking Bad, and now your turn in the studio, and it's just an immense honor to have you here, and
thanks,
your
man.
work has meant a lot to us for as long as you can remember. So
Thank
you
you.
taking the time is it's a real dream.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Hal would be afraid of both of you.
Really?
Right now. Yeah, he would be just afraid. Be like,
Hal on a podcast. That's something.
Hal on a
that's something
podcast.
I'd
I
like
guess
to
we
see.
could ask one last
Sure.
question. We've always wondered. There's a secret toilet in Hal and Lois's closet
Oh, yeah.
that's introduced, and it's never mentioned again. Even when Craig is using the bathroom and everyone's waiting outside, they don't even mention it. Are they playing the long game? Are they using it the whole time, or did they forget themselves?
Oh, I like to think that, remember, it was Lois said, don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Cover it back up.
Our own bathroom. Because I grew up in a house that had 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah, and it was a standard kind of house. And you look back, you go, how did we survive that? Can you imagine that now to that many kids?
Right.
It's like,
Unreal.
bang, bang, come on, get out there. That whole happening. I love that episode. That was really fun. They come up with some brilliant ideas. And once again, it's all about the writing.
Yep.
It is. We get inspired by what we read. In fact, the hardest work that an actor has ever done is on poorly written material. When it doesn't track, it doesn't make sense. The actions are unsupported. They're like, but I thought you just said that his character does this, and now you have him saying and doing this. Why?
Yeah.
So you're trying to be as honest and authentic as you possibly can, but it's not going to happen.
Right.
I see you're evading answering whether they're actually using the toilet or not, but I understand.
I took a big dump in there, but I couldn't flush it because the kids were walking by, so I had to be careful.
You'll have to wait for the 40th anniversary
right.
to learn the
Find out
secrets
the
of that.
answer.
And then you hear Lois in the background. Oh my God!
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, oh, she found it.
Oh man. All right. Well, everybody, please check out Malcolm in the Middle: Life Still Unfair, April 10th, Hulu, Disney Plus. Bryan, thank you again. We want to shout out the Gotham Podcast Network for hosting us.
Yeah, it's fun. Nice
Great
place.
space. Yeah. They're fantastic.
Pretty good.
New digs. So thank you to them. And again, thank you, Bryan.
Thank you,
Means the world.
Brian. Thank you, Willa.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll listen next time.
Yep.
Okay.
We look forward to it. All right. Till next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yes, no, maybe.